I was tired, overworked, and honestly, a little broken. Night shifts don't leave much room for fairy tales. But one rainy Tuesday at 3 a.m., everything changed. I didn't just find love, I found it in the last person I ever imagined, a man whose world was nothing like mine. Hey, loves, if you've ever felt like love forgot your address, this story is for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because I've got so many real life love stories to share. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. My name's Simone. I'm a Black woman in my late 20s, and for the past 2 years, I've been working night shifts at a hotel downtown. Not exactly glamorous, but it pays the bills and keeps me afloat. I live alone in a quiet little apartment not far from work. Just me, my plants, and the hum of late night silence. Most days, or should I say nights, blur together. The same routine, same uniform, same tired smile for guests checking in at impossible hours. And during the day, while the rest of the world is wide awake, I'm trying to sleep through traffic noise and sunshine that refuses to stay out of my room. It's a strange kind of loneliness that comes with working nights. You miss birthdays, brunches, and all the little things that make life feel connected. Friends stop calling after a while. Family gets used to your, "we'll catch up soon" texts. Sometimes I wonder if I'm invisible, just floating through time while everyone else keeps living. And love? Yeah, that wasn't on my radar. I wasn't looking for it, didn't believe it had time for a girl like me. Too tired, too busy, too used to being on the outside looking in. It was a rainy Tuesday night. Well, technically Wednesday morning, around 2:45 a.m. The lobby was quiet, just the soft buzz of the vending machine and the occasional drip from someone's umbrella. I was behind the front desk, sipping cold coffee and counting down the hours. That's when he walked in, tall, soaking wet, dressed in all black. He didn't look like the usual late-night guest. There was something different, controlled, focused, but not in a creepy way. His presence filled the room without saying a word. He walked up slowly, his eyes scanning the front desk, then landing on me. "Hey," he said, voice deep but calm. "Any rooms available?" I nodded and pulled up the system, fingers moving through the routine I could do with my eyes closed. But I couldn't help glancing at him again. There was something about his eyes, like he'd seen too much and didn't say much. I remember asking for his ID. He handed it over, Julian Roth. The name didn't mean anything to me then. As I checked him in, he watched me. Not in a weird way, just observant, like he was trying to figure something out. When I handed him the key card, our fingers brushed. He paused for a second, just a blink, but it felt longer. "Thanks," he said, and gave me the faintest smile before heading to the elevator. I watched the doors close behind him and just stood there, wondering why my heart was beating a little faster. I'd seen hundreds of guests come and go, but this one felt different. I shook it off, probably just the lack of sleep, or maybe the way the rain made everything feel like a movie scene. Either way, I didn't expect to see him again. But I did, many times. Julian didn't disappear like most guests do. A few nights after that first meeting, he was back. Same time, same calm energy, same room request. I smiled without meaning to when I saw him walk through the doors. He smiled back this time, just a little more than last. We started talking. At first, it was surface stuff. Weather, coffee, how night shifts mess up your body clock. He'd always ask how my night was going, and I'd ask what brought him out this late again. His answers were vague, but not cold, just private. "I like the quiet," he said once. "The city feels different at night, realer somehow." I couldn't argue with that. We had that in common. Night after night, he kept showing up, and I started to wait for him, I wouldn't admit it to myself then, but I'd glance at the lobby clock around 2:30 a.m., wondering if he'd walk in. I'd fix my hair in the reflection of the computer screen, put on lip balm, tiny things, things I hadn't done in months. One night, I was refilling the coffee pot behind the desk when he came in carrying 2 cups from the shop across the street. He handed me one and said, "Figured you'd need this more than me." That's when I started to see the cracks in the walls I'd built around myself. We talked more that night, longer than usual. I told him how I'd moved here after college, how I was still figuring life out. He listened, really listened. No fake nods or half-distracted glances at his phone. He made me feel seen, and I didn't know how badly I needed that. I asked him what he did for work. He hesitated, smiled. "I'm in tech," he said simply. That was it, nothing more. And even though I was curious, I didn't press. I liked the mystery, honestly. It made him feel human, like he wasn't trying to impress me. There was something comforting about those moments, just two people in the middle of the night, talking like the rest of the world didn't exist. And the more we talked, the more I realized this wasn't just about a guest and a front desk girl anymore. This was the beginning of something. I should have known something was off when a man who looked like Julian, spoke like Julian, and carried himself the way he did, kept showing up at a budget hotel in the middle of the night. One night, after a long pause in our usual banter, he finally opened up. We were sitting in the lobby. It was a quiet shift. No check-ins, no phone calls. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and looked right at me. "Simone," he said, "there's something I should tell you." My heart did that weird little jumpy thing. I nodded, unsure what was coming next. "I wasn't being completely honest about what I do," he admitted. "I'm not just in tech. I run a company, a big one." I blinked. "Okay, like how big?" He hesitated, then said it straight. "I'm the CEO, founder actually. It's a software company. You've probably heard of it." I laughed. I couldn't help it. It sounded like something out of a movie. But then he told me the name. And yeah, I had heard of it. Everyone had. He wasn't lying. I stared at him, suddenly unsure of what to say. This man, this calm, thoughtful, mysterious man, was a billionaire. Like, actual billionaire. "Then why are you staying here?" I asked, trying to wrap my head around it. His answer was quiet. "Because it's the only place I feel like myself. No eyes on me, no expectations, just peace. And lately, you." That part made my heart flutter and ache at the same time. I didn't know what to do with that kind of truth. All I knew was he wasn't the person I thought he was. He was something more. And somehow, he still saw me. After that night, after the truth, everything between us shifted, but not in a dramatic, overwhelming way. It was subtle, software. Like the space between us just got a little warmer. Julian didn't change. He still showed up late, still brought coffee, still asked about my night like it mattered. But now there was something in his eyes. Something open. He wasn't hiding anymore. And I guess neither was I. I started looking forward to work, not because I loved my job, but because he might be there. I found myself putting on a little lip gloss before leaving my apartment, straightening my curls more often, choosing earrings that made me feel like me again. It was silly, but it made me feel good. One night, we sat in the back office during my break, just talking. It wasn't even anything deep. We were laughing about this guest who'd walked in wearing pajamas and a cowboy hat. I said something funny. I don't even remember what. And Julian reached for my hand while he laughed. And just like that, he didn't let go. I looked down, then up at him. Our hands, our eyes. It was electric. I felt like I should pull away. Like maybe I was stepping into something I wasn't ready for. But I didn't move. I didn't want to. Still, in the back of my mind, that voice started creeping in. He's a billionaire. You're just a night clerk. This isn't real. You're not in his world. I smiled, but it was smaller than before. I was falling, and I was scared because part of me believed this was too good to last, and another part of me didn't care because when he looked at me, he didn't see a job title. He saw me. I wish I could say it was all magic from there, but life doesn't work like that. After that night in the office, after our hands met, and something shifted in the air between us, I felt everything get a little too real, and with real came fear. So I did what I always do when something feels too good. I pulled away. I started responding to his messages slower. I acted more professional when he checked in. I stopped laughing as much, stopped letting myself fall further. I even switched shifts one night just so I wouldn't have to see him. Because the truth was, I was scared. I Googled him, finally. And there it was, his name, his company, interviews, net worth, headlines with women who looked nothing like me, beautiful women, women with private chefs and designer heels and family names that opened doors. I stared at those photos and felt so small. What did he see in me? Why me? I didn't own fancy clothes. I didn't have a plan. I worked nights and lived paycheck to paycheck. And maybe worst of all, I liked him, like, really liked him. But in my head, I started believing this narrative that I was temporary, just a break from his world, a secret he could enjoy in quiet, then leave behind. So, when he didn't show up one night, I convinced myself it was over, that he'd come to his senses. I sat behind that front desk pretending to work, pretending not to care. But inside, my heart was aching. And the worst part? I knew I'd pushed him away, and I had no idea if he'd come back. A week passed, 7 long nights without him walking through those doors. No text, no coffee, no smile, just silence. I kept checking the front entrance like a fool, pretending I wasn't waiting. But my heart, it was stuck on pause. Then, on the 8th night, just when I'd started to convince myself to let go, he walked in. Same black coat, same quiet presence. But he looked different, tired, like the weight of something heavy had been on him all week. I froze. He didn't smile like before, just walked slowly to the front desk. I was starting to think you weren't coming back, I said softly. Julian looked at me, really looked at me. You pulled away, he said. I didn't want to pressure you. I swallowed hard. I didn't mean to. I got scared. He nodded. Then, after a long pause, he leaned closer. I'm falling for you, Simone, he said, voice low, almost like a secret. But only if you want me to. My heart stopped. No flashy gestures, no grand speeches, just those words. He wasn't trying to win me. He wasn't playing games. He was giving me a choice. And in that moment, something inside me cracked open. I realized all the walls I'd built were meant to keep people out, especially someone like him. But he'd stayed, quietly, respectfully, patiently. And now he was standing there, waiting for my answer. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a fairy tale, but it was honest. And maybe that was enough. I took a deep breath, and I told him the truth, too. I looked at Julian, really looked at him, and I saw it. Not the billionaire, not the polished CEO, just him. The man who sat with me during slow nights, who brought me coffee without asking, who listened when no one else did, the man who saw me when I felt invisible. And in that moment, I let go of the fear. I'm falling for you, too, I whispered. I was just afraid I wasn't enough. He didn't flinch. He didn't argue. He just took my hand again, the way he had before, firm, warm, steady. You've always been enough, he said. We stood there in the quiet lobby, no one else around. the fluorescent lights buzzing above us. The city outside was still dark, still asleep, but for the first time in a long time, I felt awake. I stepped out from behind the desk, my heartbeat pounding in my ears, and then, without overthinking it, I kissed him. It wasn't one of those dramatic movie scene kisses. It was soft, slow, familiar, like we'd done it 100 times in a different lifetime. When we pulled away, we both laughed, nervous, breathless, but light, like a weight had lifted. The night moved on, but something had changed. I didn't feel like the girl stuck in routine anymore. I felt chosen, seen, wanted, not because he was rich, not because he had power, but because in the middle of my tired, ordinary life, something extraordinary had found me. And I let it in. From that moment forward, everything felt different. I didn't know what came next, but I knew I wasn't alone anymore. And that was enough to say yes, with my heart wide open. It's been a year since that night. And no, it wasn't always smooth or simple. Love never is, especially not when you come from two completely different worlds. There were questions. People stared. People judged. I second-guessed myself more times than I can count. But Julian never wavered. He didn't try to change me. He didn't sweep me away in some billionaire fantasy. He just showed up, consistently, quietly, lovingly. He introduced me to his world slowly, never pushing. I met his team, saw his office, even sat beside him at one of those fancy tech dinners once. I wore a second-hand dress and was nervous out of my mind, but he held my hand under the table the whole time. As for me, I left my night shift job 6 months ago, not because he told me to, but because, for the first time, I believed I deserved more. He helped me see that. He helped me see me. Now, I work at a nonprofit for women transitioning out of shelters. I help them find housing, jobs, and hope. And I do it during the day, with sunlight on my face and a full heart in my chest. Julian and I live together now. Nothing fancy. Just a cozy place where we cook dinner, binge old sitcoms, and slow dance in the kitchen on Friday nights. I'm still me. Still a Black woman who worked night shifts, built strength from silence, and learned that love doesn't always come when or how you expect. But when it comes, don't run. Open the door, even if it's 3 a.m., even if he's soaking wet, asking for a room, and ends up giving you the whole world instead. If you've ever thought love can't find you in the quiet hours, think again. My story is proof that even in the darkest nights, something beautiful can shine through. Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more love stories that feel real, because they are. Love